The mortal remains of a South African nurse who died in Tanzania will finally be brought back home today. Sister Koleka Tunyiswa was part of the group of 20 nurses who were recruited to revive the East African country's ailing system in the 60s. Nursing Union DENOSA members have gathered at OR Tambo International Airport to welcome her remains. Now joining us is SABC News reporter Kylie Khumalo. Kaya, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Of course, this is a significant day, not only for the nursing fraternity, but for the family that is involved and, of course, for the country. Talk to us about today's proceedings.
Well, that's right, Unati. Quite a very heartwarming occasion here at the OR Tambo International Airport. And I mean, there's quite a very rich context into this story. I mean, you go back to the 60s, where then leader of Tanzania, that of course Julius Nyerere, approached then ANC President Oliver Tambo, talking about the looming crisis that Tanzania was facing in terms of their own healthcare facilities, in light of a very mass exodus of the nurses who went to the UK, in light of the change, the political winds of change that were blowing in East Africa. So Sister Koleka is one of those nurses who heeded the call, who left South Africa frustrated by the conditions of the repressive apartheid regime. So they went to Tanzania really to beef up the healthcare system. So the Nursing Union DENOSA has been really at the core in terms of making sure that these mortal remains finally are brought back home. But it won't end here, Unati. Eventually, during the course of next month, the mortal remains will be laid to rest in Gqeberha, where the sister was from. But let's just hear more perspective from DENOSA in terms of this very extraordinary journey. So thank you so much indeed, Mr. Olani, for your time. We know that, I mean, just a couple of days ago, President Ramaphosa hosted his Tanzanian counterpart, President Suluhu Hassan, and really just talking about the importance of South Africa and Tanzania relations. But just give us the context of the importance of today and the role that DENOSA has played to make sure that Sister Koleka's remains are brought back home.
Well, thank you very much. And just to correct you, my name is Simon Hlungwani, yes. Just as a starter. But we must appreciate one thing, that through this collaboration between DENOSA and government, Department of Arts, Sports and Culture, Department of International Relations, and the Minister in the Presidency, working together for us to ensure that at least the remains of our well-deserving heroine, it comes back home to be given the standing ovation. This is why we came here in large numbers with nurses to give the last honor that we can give. But it is so appealing that we are seeing one of the other only remaining nurse of the 20 who went to Tanzania, imagine, in 1962. And she's still jubilant and able to walk and tell us of how, at that time, painful as it sounded from the apartheid regime, they felt we are one Africa. There are sisters and brothers who needed their services elsewhere beyond the borders of South Africa. And they had to go there and teach in Tanzania, teach nursing skills, but also improve the nursing quality in that country. So it happens today when we know it's Human Rights Day, and for us it's very grateful that we know we even at the current moment have some cooperations, bilaterals, even from the nursing fraternity. We have what we call Hexacon, which is the East, the Central, and the East, the Central, and the Southern part of Africa, where we formed a college of nurses. Its primary role is to collaborate, to cooperate, we benchmark and learn from each other in terms of the nursing skills and their skills capacity, and where South Africa is doing playing a major role in assisting the African countries. You can talk about Mozambique, you talk about what is currently happening in Malawi, you can also talk about what happened in the DRC, where we assisted them to be able to have what you call a regulatory board in terms of the nursing councils there. But most importantly, it's for us to realize that Africa was one, And as long as my brothers and my sisters in another country need skills and lack in certain things, we must always lend a helping hand and assist them, which is what these 20 nurses have done. They heeded the call to go and assist in Tanzania. This is why we give them the standing ovation and we respect the role that they've done. They have not only done that, they've joined the likes of many who have parted ways. Mama like Mama Mklenge, we know Mama Sisulu, we know Mama Tambo, we know Mama Emma Sobukwe. Most of them were there in the nursing fraternity and they assisted around the areas of Africa as a whole, including medical doctors for that matter. You know many of those who are back now, including Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. She assisted in Eswatini. So that tells us that we are Africans. We should always be helping each other in the times of need. And for that, we will forever be grateful. Us as the young ones, we are worried right now that the history and this rich history is not recorded. And we are calling upon those who are in power, in particular arts and culture, to ensure that this history is written in the books, can be read by those who are coming in the next time, and never to be forgotten, but stays in the memory of everyone else. Because it is also a sign and a statement that nurses were in the struggle, and the struggle to uplift humanity, and not only in South Africa, but in Africa as a whole. This is why we attained the freedom in South Africa, and we were part of it as the nurses. We are very jubilant and very happy for that.
All right, thank you so much indeed. Of course, that's the NOSA's president, certainly not Xolani, he is Simon. So, of course, really just giving a very comprehensive context about the significance of today, Unathi, and also looking at the collaboration of the nursing community in Tanzania, just across the SADC region, but also retracing that liberation heritage roots that the nurses as well were right at the trenches in terms of fighting against apartheid regime, and of course coinciding with quite a very important day of the Human Rights Day here in South Africa.